What's up, everybody? Here to review the second to last episode of The Amazing Race, season 38, and it was kind of more of the same from the show. A lot of what I expected to happen kind of did happen, and once again, I kind of have an issue with one of the challenges on this show. I've mentioned in the past, I don't really understand the dancing challenges on the show because I don't know if they're fairly judged across the board, and nobody should like a challenge where the judging is not exactly clear, and that is how I felt once again with the Mulan Rouge dancing challenge this go round. Before we get to the dancing challenge, though, everyone got to start on the same plane, which kind of evened the odds, except one team is just so much better than the rest. But that helped Taylor and Kyland, or it should have helped Taylor and Kyland going from Italy to Paris, especially since Taylor spoke some French, because I guess her mom taught French or teaches French. So she felt good about this round. However, when they all got to France, Taylor and Kyland had the bad luck of getting the taxi driver that didn't seem to know what he was doing, or he was trying to take a quicker route, but the route he took was not on the GPS. And since it wasn't the route on the GPS, it seemed to send him to, or the way he went sent him to roadblocks, which kind of put Taylor and Kyland behind. So they ended up getting, even though they got the fair chance to start with the rest of them on the same plane, even though they ended the last episode in last place, well, second to last place, because they didn't go home like Chelsea and Jack. But then after their taxi driver, they got to the Mulan Rouge dances last of the four teams. Jospeh and Adam actually got there first, but it's Jospeh and Adam, and they have not been good with dancing comps or anything that has anything to do with rhythm. Any of the competitions that needed rhythm this season, Jospeh and Adam failed pretty damn hard. And this was one of those things again. However, that being said, watching the dancing competition be judged, if they need to make this more clear how they're actually judging this, because they seem to make a big deal of the timing, and so they had to time themselves to the dances. And the first go round, Jag and Jazz really shit the bed on their dances. The second go round, Jag did pretty perfectly, but I was counting along, and being a drummer once upon a time, I like to think I have a good count when it comes to stuff like this. And Jazz was off at least 3 times in their second attempt, and yet they got the pass on their second attempt. And I will say that Taylor and Kyland got also a pass on their second attempt, and Kyland might have been off a little bit, but it still was not as much as Jag and Jess. And so what annoyed me is that later in the episode, when Jospeh and Adam and Izzy and Paige are still getting judged, specifically Jospeh and Adam, one of the judges was like, here at Mulan Rouge, you have to be perfect, and so your timing is still off. And while I do think Jospeh and Adam's timing was still probably more off than Jag and Jazz, the judging here was still totally unclear from jump about how this was being judged, because it clearly was not being judged on perfection and getting the timing exactly right, because Jazz was not on the timing on their second attempt. But whatever, maybe it is me overanalyzing Jag and Jazz, because I would like them to have some sort of hiccup. But I still stand by the fact that Jazz messed up 3 times with the rhythm on their second attempt, and yet they still got a pass. The second challenge for everyone was the Braille competition, where they basically had to type something out in Braille, match the letters to the Braille. It was an interesting competition, I guess. I think Jag and Jazz chose wrong about who should do that. I was surprised when they chose Jazz, because that seems more like a Jag challenge. But Jazz did well. He just slowed down his second attempt, and I guess he did it really, really slow, and it was good enough for that. Taylor and Kyland, despite ending up doing the Mulan Rouge dance 4th, or getting to the place 4th, they ended up finishing the dance 2nd. So that got them to the Braille competition after Jag and Jas. This was another surprise. Some of the teams this episode, I guess the main surprise was who they chose to do the Braille competition. Taylor doing it over Kyland was surprising because, as we've seen this season, Kyland is the far more patient one in that relationship. So I felt like it was probably more his kind of comp. I think he would have done well at being patient. But Taylor still did very good. And Taylor, I do want to point out that Taylor did carry her and Kyland through that dancing competition. She was the one counting along when they were dancing together. And I give Taylor all the props for that dancing competition finish happening so quickly. It was nice to see Kyland, maybe not nice, but I mean, it was sweet to see Kyland kind of emotional after finishing the dancing competition, because I guess he's had these nightmares about the dance competitions and how he thought he was going to ruin it for him and Taylor, and it was going to get them eliminated. But when they completed the dance, he got emotional because he's not a dancer. That was a sweet moment. But Taylor, she not only carried them during the dance competition, but she did a very good job on the Braille competition. She finished that on her second try, similar to Jas. So I thought Taylor had a really good episode, a really good showing on this episode. As for Jospeh and Izzy, I can see why Jospeh was chosen to do the Braille, especially since last week Jospeh made Adam do all of the challenges. So Jospeh doing the Braille, it also meant a lot to him personally, because I guess his mom is blind in one eye and she's showed him Braille before. And he did get it on his first try. He was just moving very slowly. Izzy was moving fast with the typewriter because she's a flutist, or at least that was the excuse as why she was moving so fast. But her moving so fast is kind of what kept messing her up. So Jospeh was worried about Izzy moving faster than him on this comp, but he still finished or got it done accurately before her. But Izzy doing the typewriter was cracking me up. I know pretty much every week I've been hyping up Izzy, and I'm going to keep doing that because I still believe Izzy is great TV. And this was another example of why Izzy is good TV. Because, typing on a typewriter on a television show, not exactly riveting. But watching Izzy freak out slowly, but it keeps building up to her freaking out more and more in a very Izzy way, was very entertaining to me. She got it done in the end, and the episode ends on a cliffhanger. So Jag and Jas got first place. I mean, no surprise there, and I would not be surprised if they are first place at the finale. Unfortunately, I don't want to watch that. I guess I can say that they are more deserving to win this show than Jag was to win his season of Big Brother. I still question the way they've been judged in some of these dance competitions, because I don't know if they've been fairly or accurately judged, but that's my problem with the dance competitions on this show. Taylor and Kyland get second place. They've gotten better and better at racing as the show has gone along. So they did good here in Paris. I think Taylor had a big advantage speaking French, and I think she just did really good at all these comps. If she can keep doing so good at the comps in the finale, maybe her and Kyland have a chance. They've showed some episodes that when really put to task, they can get things done quickly. We'll see if that happens this go round. We don't know who survived between Izzy and Paige and Jospeh and Adam. I guess they really did need a hook for the next episode, since it's pretty clear who's actually going to win the show. We have to see who's actually competing against them, though. So I do think they probably needed a cliffhanger here. I'm, of course, hoping it's Izzy and Paige. They still would be a great underdog story to win the game. I also think that Jospeh and Adam might be the team eliminated, because this was the first episode all season long that they did not hit us over the head with the edit of Adam's diabetes. That's what I was thinking by the end of this episode. I thought they were going to lose. I didn't know we were going to get a cliffhanger, but I thought they were going to be in last place because this was the first episode. They didn't try to make us feel sorry for Adam and his diabetes. So I would say this was one of the edits all season long where Joseph and Adam didn't get an underdog edit because of Adam's diabetes. So that's why I still think they might get eliminated. But that's just a guess. But I did take note of that because we have been beat over the head with Adam's diabetes in a way for us to, I guess, root for them more. And it only makes sense editing wise, although it's too obvious, but it only makes sense editing wise that the round that they go home, we don't get to feel sorry for them. So that's my prediction. Anyway, I'll be here for the finale next week so we can discuss Jeg and Jas winning, unfortunately. But I guess we'll see who survives, and I guess we'll see who gets second and third place. Because I do think first place is clear as day. Nobody has been able to compete with Jag and Jas all season except Tucker and Eric. Once they went home, nobody else can compete with them. Period. I would be shocked if anyone even comes close to winning at the finale the way it's been going.